Lon Raki. You'll see a big difference when you get to see this bloke next time at the track. He's up doing 3/4 pace at the moment. Tomorrow he'll work over 800 metres. But he's got quite tall, he's an elegant horse. Everything's in the right place. At this stage of his preparation, he's come along really well. So hopefully trial in a few weeks' time. Hey buddy, come here. Hey team, here's a filly called Ringer Rosa, little filly by Sebring, and beautifully bred filly. And at this stage, all of her track work, she's showing above average ability, like speed-wise, I should say. Every time we gallop her, she always matches a gallop. If anything, she likes to put her head in front. Very competitive. Not the biggest filly in the world. Still very mature. I think what you see at this stage in this filly is a filly showing good speed and track work, but just not physically quite there yet. As you can see, she's a bit light. Not real tall yet, but she's still growing. But the first thing we like to see is horses that got speed. She's got plenty of that. The rest will come with a bit of time, won't it, girl? See? She's a lovely filly. Hopefully she gets to trialling. Hopefully trialling next week, and a bit of barrier education to get on Friday, I should say, and trial next week at Rose Hill. And then we'll see her performance there. Will tell us whether she goes on with it or she goes for another break and just gets a bit stronger. She's a very kind filly, and she's got, as I said, she's very competitive. She wants to be a good horse, don't you, girl? Hey? Good girl. Hey team, here's Sea Stitch. Ran a much improved race yesterday. I know it was only at Bathurst, but he was beaten by a city-trained horse. Run home strongly at the end of the 1100 metres, and that's something we've been looking to see. It's been a work in progress. He has got a lot of ability. He shows that in track work, but he just hasn't quite put it together yet on race day. And, you see that a lot in young horses. You just got to be patient. You've got to persevere with them. We seem to put a human intelligence in a lot of horses, but if you think about it, they don't know where the winning post is when they get to a strange track. And some horses take a while to work out what the whole job is ahead of them. So I thought yesterday you saw a horse that applied himself strongly late, with a horse that was looking for a little bit further, maybe on a bigger track. And he did a few things wrong during the run. Kathy said that when he got inside horses, he was scared of them. Didn't really want to go in between gaps, and charged a couple of times during the race. So he's racing in patches. So he's just a work in progress. Even though they do everything right at track work, doesn't mean they're going to do it on race day. So it's a different pressure altogether. He looks absolutely enormous. He's eaten up last night, so we'll find a race for him next fortnight. And I think you'll find that if he goes to the races and draws the right gate up against the right opposition, I think he'll do it right. And if he does it right, he'll be winning. Don't look away from me when I say that. Hey team, finally, I can say this about this horse. Last start winner. Showed a lot early on, won a few trials where he was leading, then we got to race day and had no finish. So we had to teach him, after educating him what we thought was the right thing to do, let him run, we had to re-educate him. And that takes a bit of doing sometimes. When you've got a horse that's got brilliant gate speed, it's hard to get them to relax. So I had to put him in a few 900s last campaign, just to put him in races where they were just going too fast for him to pull. And he got home really strongly in very strong form races a couple of times there. Went out winless, a few placings, came back from a spell. We set him for this race at Newcastle over 900 on the weekend. And it was a brilliant ride by Keegan Latham to get the money. And it was good to see him finally get over the line. A good work by our team to re-educate him, good work by our owners to stick with him. And hopefully from here on, now he's learned how to win, he'll go forward and win plenty more races. I love the way he opened up in the straight. If you look back, it was interesting when the owners got on Facebook and showed a replay of Exofear winning his maiden at Kevin LaGrange. It was a much stronger race that day that Exofear won. The pattern of racing was very similar and their action was very similar. I'm not saying this bloke's Exofear, but he's going the right direction to win the right races. And if I place him right, keep him in them short races with his speed on, then he should be able to win a nice race or two for us. So I don't think he's there yet. I think he's a work in progress. So let's hope that maybe 2 more runs this campaign, put him out again and bring him back for a late 3-year-old campaign before he obviously loses his Bob's bonuses. And we can pay a few bills and maybe turn a really strong 4-year-old.
Good afternoon team, here's Capital Rain, just back in his stable after working this morning over 600 metres with a couple of mates. Good boy. He worked really strongly there and he's coming along nicely. As you can see, he's starting to shape up now and he should be ready to trial in about 3 or 4 weeks time. Good boy. Looks nice and relaxed.
G'day team, Hes Liberty Fields, last start 2nd place getter. She went to Bathurst yesterday, thought she could win, but she couldn't quite catch the leader. It had a soft run. Came around the turn, she opened up. She's probably a better horse in soft ground, there's no doubt about that, but the option to take on the weaker opposition was there. And unfortunately, we just found one that had a longer head than her. Ran a great race, she tried very hard, but I just think that on a really wet track, she's going to be very, very competitive. So we'll see what happens next start. We might just give her one more run. It is summer, and we're not going to get too many wet tracks unless we get storms, so we'll keep an eye on the weather. And if we get the right weather and she turns up next start in the right race, I think she'll be winning. She's certainly racing well. She's had a deal of problems when she was younger, a few knee changes, etc., and we've been able to work through that and get her right. And look, we find the right race, she'll be winning next start, but I really want to see this filly in the winter time when we get them real bad tracks. G'day guys, here is a colt called Unspoken Star. He's a colt by Zoo Star, as the name would suggest, and he has been a work in progress, this fella. Very timid horse, highly strung, got his little quirks, wouldn't let us put a plastic bridle on his head, so a PVC bridle, won't let that go on, but a leather or a material bridle or headstall, no dramas. It's funny around his ears for some reason, but the team have done a great job to get that sorted. It's amazing how they worked out that he didn't like PVC compared to material. So anyway, we had to go and buy a material bridle, and that's no dramas now. So as you see, a lot of horses have got different quirks, and you have good people around you that really know their stuff, and that helps me when it comes to race day. If you surround yourself with people that know their job around the horses, and Bronwyn, who looks after this horse, has spoilt him rotten. As you can see, he's looking for apples now because she feeds him apples all the time, doesn't she? Hey, where's your apples, mate? So he's going well. He's up to 3/4 pace now. He's a horse called Stixon. He's a son of Nakoni, and he's another one that we would call a work in progress. Big, tall horse. It's taken a while to fill into his frame. Was placed at Canberra last campaign at big odds, and then was just a little bit disappointing a couple of runs after that. Not too bad of runs, but just not quite there. So we gave him a spell. He's been back in work a day, so he's come back. He got his shoes on yesterday. Went for a treadmill today, and tomorrow he'll do some more treadmill work. So we used the treadmill when they first come back from the paddock, just some light work without a rider on, so they get a little bit of muscle condition, and then we start to do a little bit more with them. But he's showed plenty of speed, this bloke. Now if he turns it round and he can show the speed at the back end of the race like he can from a standing start, and that's what we'll be working on this time, obviously with a little bit more maturity, he's going to win plenty of races for us. So I think he's got something in the tank. I'm not sure what's there, but there's something there. I'm sure there's something more than what he showed so far. So hopefully he fulfills what I believe he can do. Hey bud. Yes. He's a horse called Walkin' Talkin'. He's a son of a elite Thoroughbreds champion racehorse, I'm All the Talk, who's standing in Western Australia at the moment with great success. He's actually, I think, second or first in the leaderboard for second season size in Australia. So a great effort for him to be doing that in Western Australia. This is a son of his. I purchased this horse when I was over in Western Australia last season. He's a 2-year-old. Great shaped horse, you can see, beautiful shoulder, great strength through his forearm, good solid top line, down to a strong gaskin, massive hip on him. I love this hip, massive movement here. That gives you the power and the drive. He's trialled a couple of times, trialled enormously at Rosehill, and I didn't think he was quite up to the big guns for the slipper time, so I decided we'd just back off and have him racing when the carnival finishes. There'll be plenty of races for this fella. So this preparation will be aiming at the races and more importantly, winning.
Aloquio late with Iron Brockin, but Cosmic Cameo staves them all off. But Bring a Gem with the gun runner is way too good. And there's a double for James McDonald.
Straturbo just in front. It's ripping on and won the last. Straturbo
is coming away for a brilliant victory. It goes down to beat Octane Flyer and then came in third, Lon Raki.
Tester Shadow resuming today's a neck in front from Oxford Poet. It can't pull back the margin. Tester Shadow patiently ridden outside the leader. Here's Seeking Asylum with the last shot at them, bursting through on the outside. Oh, what a great finish. Seeking Asylum. Abdullah says, go on, Sebring Sun. And it races up to hit the lead and starts to wedge away on the Rosebud. Sebring Sun from Wild Ear and Let's Make It Rain. Regis run home into fourth, followed then by Tatouche, then Vanbrugh from Zoo Tanada, and Canby Bossy after leading, finished back at the tail of the field.